This project started out as an experiment to see what I could make using one wire hanger as a base. I started by unbending the corners of the hanger to form a large loop. I then measured the circumference of the hoop and divided that in half to get the two halves of my butterfly. The hook part of the hanger was used to form the base of the butterfly's body. After that, it's just a matter of bending and forming the wire until it vaguely resembles a butterfly. This took me quite a while and it left my hands a little bit sore. If you were thinking of trying this project and didn't mind spending a little bit of money, I'd suggest getting a lighter gauge wire so that it's easier to form. I chose to use wire hangers because I'm cheap and they're free. The wing coverings were made out of a nylon stocking cut in half to form the two sides of the butterfly. Sewing the stretchy, delicate material of the nylon stockings can be a little bit tricky, and since I'm used to sewing with my projects around 4 inches from my nose, it was especially challenging for me to film this part. I stretched the stockings over the wire frame and then ran a running stitch along the opening of the stockings and cinched it down to secure it. Sometimes when you have deep curves or divots in the shape of your wing, the stocking can form this webbing appearance. That's not really what I'm going for, so I sew the stocking down to the wire frame using a whip stitch. The finished appearance isn't perfectly smooth, but it's the best I could manage at the time. I tend to start by painting the perimeter of the wings to disguise the appearance of the wire. When painting the veining and edges of the wings, I tend to keep the consistency of my paint quite thick to prevent it from bleeding across the material. I made a boo-boo and I don't know how to fix it, and I'm very depressed. Symmetry is a bitch. Learn from my mistakes. Please always be careful with burning objects. On another note, I was quite ill while I was working on this project, hence the squeaky cry of despair. Still a little bit sick, actually. The thick paint I used for the lines, I watered down the paint for the color of my wings quite a bit so that it would spread easily across the surface. Blotchy at first, but if you gradually keep adding sheer layers of color, eventually it starts to come together. The entire process is a lot more about patience than it is about skill. That said, this was kind of a time-consuming project. that it's a little bit less messy while I'm working with it, and it's much less likely to shed off later. How much glitter is too much glitter? I think that's a personal choice. Clearly, I don't know when to stop. I used yarn to bulk up the body of my butterfly, gluing and wrapping until he was sufficiently chubby. A really ineffective angle to show me gluing on the little plastic gem eyes, but trust me, that's what I'm doing. I painted the body of my butterfly with a mixture of glue, black paint, and glitter because I thought it would create an interesting texture and add durability. Lastly, I glued on a hair clip with some incredibly toxic smelling adhesive. The clips were a bit larger than I would have liked and I wasn't sure which position to glue it on in. Instinct told me this way, but I won't know until later if that was the best idea.